Again, welcome to the series of video presentations on the foreign exchange market by megatrade101.com. We have a series of 3 comparative charts on top and 3 comparative charts at the bottom of your screen that you see here. And let's try to start with the very first one, which is the sterling pound or cable, working right now currently at 1.5882 with a high of 1.5962, which we stated that it would touch and try to reach a 21-month moving average. If I could show it to you on a monthly basis, that here it is trying to reach the 1.5988, as we did mention in our July 30th market view report on the closing report of that week, where we anticipated, or rather speculated, that the price movement of the pound would try to reach 1.5988, and it did try to reach it, but however failed. And this is looking at it on a monthly basis, and since it's a live trading market right now, it is on a 4-hourly chart. It has made a corrective move back down to a low of 1.5872, as you can see here on the prices, where relatively the momentum has declined, and more especially that the prices have basically consolidated near the top of a 21-month moving average with lower volumes, where most of the traders have now liquidated most of their long positions. However, we did made our recommendations that both the pound and the euro has been in a bullish trend from the start of the past 3 weeks now, and relative to how it looks even on a weekly basis, cable is still intact as far as its acceleration, and its angle of acceleration has been very stiff in such a way that the prices still has enough legs or room to move higher. Comparing it with the movement of the euro also has, in these levels now, have declined, and the prices now has reached, let's see if we can try to get the prices here with the cursor now at 1.3130 on a corrective move, which was basically the opening price of yesterday and the closing price of the previous day. So the momentum especially now have deteriorated, where the dollar index has reached at the 81 basis point corrective movement, but this is part and parcel of being overbought on the high side for both the euro as well as the pound. And switching the daily euro into a weekly chart here, it looks very similar, although you could see that the volumes here for the past 3 weeks has been higher on both major pairs. So relatively the market is still strong, with some corrective movements for both the euro, the pound, as well as the US dollar index. Comparing it with the dollar Swiss here on a daily basis, currently working at 1.0522 with a high of 1.0550 105.26, excuse me. And we did have a hedge position where relatively we were trying to maximize the movement of the pound when we took our positions long at 1.5465, and comparatively now we have locked in our profit potential, although the buying at dollar Swiss at this price levels of 1.0388 would have made us a substantial amount, although we could, like I said, we would simply have taken profit here, settled the positions, but we did try to maximize the potentials of the pound simply because the trend is still higher. However, by taking a position as a hedge, an arbitrary hedge with the strength of the dollar, simply because it has been moving lower for the past few days or even months at that, and below 80.00 basis points for the dollar would have been a very tolerable risk factor. Taking a long position on the dollar Swiss would have been a likely scenario. And let's try to put this on a weekly basis. You could see that the trend line on the resistance here on the dollar Swiss has touched a high of 1.0526, making this consolidation here more prominent, where such a consolidation may have to move higher. And comparing it also, it has higher volumes, twice as much on these levels, and if you extend it here as well, it's twice as much as the average, where the movement for the dollar Swiss would now be relatively on the bullish side. Considering the dollar yen positions here, the market is now currently at 86.28 with a low of 85.31, and looking at it, looks like that the momentum here, with although with smaller volumes on the daily basis, however the slight momentum is building up simply because, like I mentioned, that the US dollar index has recovered slightly from an oversold area, where currently the prices on both dollar yen and dollar Swiss, if we switch it back on a daily basis, have tremendously moved higher from a low of 1.037 and a low here for the dollar yen. Let's see if we can get it here at 85.31. So it looks like both dollar Swiss and Japanese yen or dollar yen has been making a recovery, contrary to the pound as well as the euro. Although looking at it overall on a weekly basis, again, the New Zealand dollar, or better known as the Kiwi, still is moving higher. Even on a weekly basis, has extreme momentums, and the previous high on May 2nd, on the week of May 2nd, let's see if we can get it right here, a high of 73.22 has already been penetrated, since this may be considered as a double top resistance, and currently working now at 73.49 with a high of 73.54, which may still sustain on a weekly basis. Same volumes, higher, and considering the fact that the Australian dollar did recover from a slight correction here, looks like a hanging man on a daily basis and started off with the next day lower, moving lower, but now have recovered on a daily basis. Because this may look like a false signal that a hanging man or a hammer would be at the top of the scale, showing some indications that it would have to move lower. However, the momentum still maintains high, converting it on a weekly basis now that it is actually targeting this area where, let's see if we can get it here. As far as the prices are concerned, they're attempting to get to 0.9273, which is the consolidation price here, and slowly moving up, building momentum as prices, or rather building volumes higher as prices move up on a weekly basis, with two spike formations, as we call it in our terms, and then penetrating a resistance, moving higher, still has enough room and legs for the trend and the prices to go higher than where it is now, especially on a weekly basis. Even if you look at it on a monthly basis, where we have also extended a Fibonacci fan on the support levels, where positions taken here would have been more likely a good long positions, especially so if you see a doji on the low side of a Fibonacci support fan formation here. Since our time is actually quite limited most of the time, we'd like to thank you for joining us here in our live presentation, uh, August 4th. And we'd like to say join us again on our next presentation, where we will be covering most of the market on live while trading. Thank you very much and have a good day.